Set 2 is finally here, bringing us tons of new champions and synergies. With many new things to learn and different metas to understand, we're going to start off with a team we believe to be strong. So let's begin with Desert Blademasters. This synergy utilizes the strength of Sivir and Master Yi and the adaptability it has to offer. But first, I'd like to remind you to click on the link below and take a look at the updated ProGuides.com if you want to learn more about teamfight tactics. ProGuides will always have info on the newest patches, best builds, and strategies. There are all kinds of different resources from top players to help you become the best player you can be. So be sure to check out ProGuides.com using the link in the description. Alright, now let's get back into the video. With this new set, we're introduced to so many new possibilities and powerful teams to utilize. This focuses on playing around Sivir, a 3-cost unit with a strong ultimate to spread on hit similar to gunslingers while being a Blademaster, and Master Yi synergizing insanely well with many Desert and Blademaster units. Their damage is further amplified with Desert, reducing the enemy team's armor. So let's start with the early game. This is usually when the game has just started and you are between levels 1 and 5. At this point in the game, you want to try to build up the economy while developing a strong early game team. Renekton and Yasuo are important units later on, Renekton giving access to Desert later on, and Yasuo giving Blademasters, both synergies set at intervals of 2. In the early game, Maokai, Ivern, LeBlanc, and Nico are a strong combo together. Forest provides you a copy of a random Forest unit, typically being useful as any bonus unit early can win you fights. Druids get health regen, so Nico, Maokai, and Ivern can be difficult to kill early on. This synergizes well with Maokai being tanky and Ivern supporting low health allies. Diana and Rek'Sai are both strong early game units as well. Rek'Sai, Diana, Nocturne, and LeBlanc in combination with early Forest Druids can lead to an extremely strong mid-game combo, giving you Assassins, Forest, Steel, and Druid. Other 3 costs you want to actively look for is Sivir, being core in this composition, Aatrox, Azir, Qiyana, Sion, and Dr. Mundo, for reasons we will explain as we go into the mid-game. You want to prioritize hitting level 6 as soon as possible while accumulating as much gold as you can between intervals. So when you're 4 out of 10 gold for level 5, you can afford to wait 1 round to get more economy before you hit level 6. The faster you hit level 6, the more likely you're going to find your core units, the Desert Blademasters. Once you've hit level 6, this is when you can find your main carries. You want to look for Sivir, Azir, Kha'Zix, and Aatrox for your core units. They will be your main carries as well as a strong part in your late game team. Aatrox can potentially synergize well with any early light units you might run. Azir also synergizes potentially well with early summoners like Malzahar and Zyra. Most importantly, Kha'Zix can synergize well with assassins like Diana, LeBlanc, and Qiyana, giving you another potential carry in the team. Ideally, you want to hit 50 gold at this point and try to go for level 8. However, rolling a bit early on to find your carries or upgrading them is necessary to keep yourself alive. Sivir is the most important upgrade, and if she's heavily contested in your lobby, you want to roll for her before everyone else. If she's already taken, then you're better off transitioning into another composition. If you're planning to run only 2 Blademasters, then replacing Yasuo for Aatrox and then replacing Aatrox with Master Yi is usually the plan. However, the earlier you hit level 8, the easier it should be to find Master Yi for 4 Blademasters, greatly amplifying Sivir's damage. The same goes for Desert. If you're only planning to run 2, then going Renekton and Azir, then replacing Azir with Kha'Zix. However, 4 can be extremely important, especially when facing Wardens, who gain a lot of bonus armor. You want to ideally look for important items on carousels as well. Your most important items are Red Buff and Giant Slayer, but you can look to make on-hit items if you're looking for immediate strength. However, we'll talk more about items later on in this guide, so stay tuned for that. Keep in mind as well, after Raptors, you won't be able to get components until the carousel after Drake, so try to combine most of your items at this point. Before you level to 8, make sure your team is fully upgraded and you don't sacrifice too much economy in order to do so. If you're too weak and low on money, try to make sure your important upgrades like Aatrox, Sivir, and Kha'Zix. And finally, we reach the late game. The biggest advantage Desert Blademasters has is having insane adaptability to flex your composition according to what you roll, so we're going to go over some examples of teams you can build. For our first team, we have Sivir, Azir, Kha'Zix, Renekton, Master Yi, Zed, Qiyana, and Yorick or Annie. This gives you 4 Desert, 3 Assassins, 2 Blademasters, and 3 Summoners. 4 Desert gives your team a huge bonus, with Master Yi, Renekton, Kha'Zix, Sivir, and Zed all being reliant on physical damage. Next, we have Sivir, Renekton, Olaf, Dr. Mundo, Master Yi, Sion, Volibear, and another Berserker. With this team, it works best making Master Yi into a Berserker, and the last unit being a strong unit like Nami, Taric, Malphite, or Janna. If you get lucky, Lux with Shadow can give you 4 Shadow as well. In combination with Shadow, Blademaster, Berserker, and Desert, Master Yi becomes an extremely powerful carry along with Sivir and Olaf. Do not make Sivir a Berserker in this composition as she will jump in and most likely die. At level 8, you want to upgrade everyone while maintaining a good economy. If you're fully upgraded and still have tons of gold, then it's usually the right play to go for level 9 at this point. Depending on your synergy, you can try to slot in powerful 5 costs like Nami or Taric. You can go for simple 2 synergies as well, like Ocean, Warden, and Mountain if Qiyana is a mountain element. Now that we know how to play at all points in the game, how do we itemize with this comp? Starting with Sivir, she can use tons of on-hit items, but ideally you want to have Rage Blade, Red Buff, and anything defensive like Bloodthirster, Quicksilver Sash, Trap Claw, etc. Rage Blade lets her attack extremely fast in combination with Blademaster, letting her deal an insane amount of damage. Red Buff gained a buff to deal 2% true damage on hit along with its burn, making Sivir's Ricochet deal an insane amount of physical and true damage. Though if your items aren't optimal, she can use a lot of items like Runan's Hurricane, Swordbreaker, Cursed Blade, Titanic Hydra, Giant Slayer, Hush, Rapid Fire Cannon, Phantom Dancer, and Hextech Gunblade. Next, we have Master Yi, who's pretty similar to Sivir in terms of itemization. Rage Blade's the most core, synergizing well with 100% attack speed and bonus on hit damage gained from his ultimate. He can also utilize Black Cleaver, as mentioned before, making his auto attacks deal an insane amount of damage. He works with all the items mentioned on Sivir. Olaf is a unit that's often overlooked, but can be extremely powerful if built around. His insanely high attack speed bonus and lifesteal gain along with his ultimate can make him a decent carry. He works with on-hit items as well, similar to Master Yi or Sivir due to his Berserker bonus. You can make him into a Blademaster as well, synergizing strongly with the incredible amount of physical damage Olaf can provide. Kha'Zix is powerful with general base attack damage and a Seraph's. His ultimate is similar to old Rengar, where he jumps to a low health enemy and crits them, gaining mana instead of attack speed. This makes a 2-star Kha'Zix with Seraph's constantly ult around the map, critting insanely hard in combination with Desert. He's best with Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, or Seraph's, but items like Deathblade, Guardian Angel, or even Thief's Gloves are fine as well. Tank items are best on your Berserkers or any frontline units like Taric. Zed can also utilize tank items as well, his clones applying stacking effects like Frozen Heart to reduce attack speed or gaining multiple Ionic Sparks to shred ability-based compositions like mages. Items like Iceborne Gauntlet can be heavily utilized if it's a cloud map as well, using the dodge chance to spread an attack speed slow. Zephyr can be used on units standing on elemental tiles. More than likely, your opponent is going to put core units on a fire tile or an important tank on a mountain tile, which is always placed on the opposite side of the map, so use this to your advantage. The positioning with this composition is dependent on the map you're playing on. You want to try to position around elemental tiles to the best of your abilities. You want Sivir and any ranged carry on infernal and ocean tiles if they're placed anywhere except the front tiles. However, keep in mind, if you have 3 items on Sivir, she can't use elemental tiles, so put someone else there. Cloud and mountain tiles can be used on frontline units as well. The dodge chance or the bonus health can be important to help your team, even if it's a small amount. Positioning is dependent on who you're fighting against and where tiles are placed. You want to always defensively position Sivir and aggressively position Master Yi. As the late game comes around, spreading your team out a bit more is extremely important, as units like Lux, Nami, or Malphite have an insane amount of AoE damage and crowd control. At the same time, make sure you don't leave your Sivir out in the open if they're running assassins like Kha'Zix, Qiyana, or Zed. Berserkers are a bit harder to position around, as they are similar to assassins and will jump to the nearest enemy at the start of the fight. So if you're running Berserkers or assassins along with Sivir, don't depend on them to keep her alive, since they're going to be jumping straight into the action. Let's say you're not playing this composition, but fighting against it. What are counters to Desert Blademasters? We'll start with the individual units, starting with Braum. While Braum's Warden might get countered by Desert, his shield can be extremely important in combination with Thornmail to counter Sivir, Master Yi, and Olaf's auto attacks. He can absorb a ton of damage and stall long enough to kill Desert Blademasters, as their teams are usually a lot squishier than other teams. Taric and Nami are both insane defensive 5 costs, Taric being a Warden and Nami being a Mystic. If you manage to 2-star either of them, their ultimates can be extremely powerful stalling tools to negate a large part of their damage. Assassins are an obvious choice when fighting a composition like this. Trying to burst down carries like Master Yi and Sivir as soon as possible can be a way to win a fight. However, it's less effective if Desert Blademasters are running assassins as well, while it's harder to roll for upgrades. Summoners can be an extremely strong synergy to utilize to counter against Sivir's Ricochet. Malzahar's Voidlings, Annie's Tibbers, Yorick's Goons, and Zed's clones can absorb damage and easily outpace them with too much health to burn through, rather than armor. Desert Blademasters has many options to adapt to at all points of the game. Its strength revolves around its openness with items, and the units allow it to excel consistently and effectively. Sivir and Master Yi are both powerful units together, and many of the units you can adapt to can use the Desert synergy effectively as well, creating a hard-hitting team. So what do you guys think about set 2? What do you think about the addition of Lux, a 7-cost unit? Comment down below, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit ProGuides.com to stay up to date on all things teamfight tactics. We wish you guys good luck in your next games. We'll see y'all next time.